And we are Better Country 101.7 The Bull. We are just about 9 o'clock here this morning. It's good to be hanging out with you here this morning. And we are joined by a special guest here in the 9 o'clock hour as we get the chance to chat with Brian Godsill. He is the co-host of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast. And he's also going to be hosting an event coming up at the Capitol Theater. That is going to be a really fun event. Let me get the date. This is going to be happening on April 12th. The Severin Films double feature, which he's going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a second here. Brian, good to have you with us here this morning. How are you doing?
Not too bad. It's supposed to be a beautiful day out today.
I know. Isn't it nice getting this nicer weather here? Boy, I don't know if you're much of a golfer, but it's got my golf fever at like a 10 right now.
I get so sick of the grass by the end of the summer.
I know, right? You love it until you have to mow, and then you're like, okay, I've had enough of this right now. So let's talk a little bit, though, about your event. We'll get to know a little bit more about you guys here in just a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about this event, this double feature that you're hosting on April 12th here in Burlington at the Capitol Theater. I'll just open the floor to you, and you kind of fill us in on what you got there.
So we have a double feature with Severin Films, which is an international film distribution company. They send movies all over the world. They do events all over the United States. I mean, from Texas to New York to LA, all over. So that they're coming to Burlington on the banks of the mighty Mississippi. It's kind of crazy, and I've had a lot of friends say, what? You're showing what in Burlington?
Yeah, right?
What's going on?
It's a pretty special thing, Burlington, we're starting to get these things, obviously, and it's pretty exciting for us. And this is just another thing that it's like, hey, put it on the list, man. Pretty exciting stuff. So you're doing this double feature with these folks. What features, what movies are you going to be featuring then?
So the first one got is Cemetery Man. Both films are foreign films, but I know Cemetery Man is in English. It's dubbed. And it's about a caretaker of a cemetery. But in this cemetery, everybody comes back to life after a week.
Uh-oh.
So he has to capture them and put them back in the ground.
Okay.
But he falls in love.
Okay.
And it's a love story.
Okay.
But I can't ruin how.
Yeah, no, we don't want you to spoil it, obviously.
You can kind of get how it goes.
I mean, that's an interesting concept of a movie there. We need more movies like that, kind of with that kind of off the ledge thinking kind of way of thinking here. And then what's second one here?
So the second one is a Spanish film directed by Jess Franco, who is 173 films in this guy's filmography.
Wow.
A director. He's still several movies that were up for Oscars this year. They went and said, this is a guy that got us into making movies.
Wow.
So he's passed, but still his scope's touching cinema now.
Yeah.
It's called Vampires Lesbos.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
One of the coolest things about being a movie fan is going into something as blind as possible.
Really?
And being able to watch it at a historic theater for the first time. You can't ask for more, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. So do you kind of have a rundown of what that movie's going to be like then, or?
What I've read is it's about a lady. She's an American in Turkey.
Okay.
And she's having these dreams about this female vampire coming to suck her blood.
Okay.
But then she goes on a trip, and the vampire from her dream is the vampire that's trying to get her.
All right.
So
that's another great two movies, great concepts for the horror fans out there. This is certainly for you. We're talking with Brian Godsill. He's the co-host of the I Like It Spooky podcast, talking about that double feature. That is going to be on April 12th. What time's everything get underway then on the 12th?
So doors open at 6. You can shop some I Like It Spooky Horror podcast merch. We'll have a table, and Severin Films is going to have a table, so you can come check out their movies and buy stuff. You can watch the movies, and if you enjoy them, you can probably buy them afterwards.
Yeah.
And then Oscar Bait Film Collective, who is a podcast, and they go around the country talking about how important Jess Franco is. They're going to open the second film.
Okay.
So.
All right, that's going to be again, it's April 12th. Check that out. Check out their Facebook page, the I Like It Spooky podcast, and check out their Facebook page. Get all the info surrounding that. Let's talk a little bit about your podcast. For those who may not have heard it or are spooky movie fans who maybe haven't been able to check yours out before, what all do you guys cover? Obviously, spooky movies and all that, but what is the basis of what you guys cover then on that podcast?
So we're a little different than maybe most podcasts. We open up with two segments. We talk about news. What's going on in the horror movie industry? Collectibles, movies, physical media, books. Then we go to why are we poor? Because if you are a collector of anything,
Yep.
you know you're poor because you buy movies and figures and all that stuff. We get to the movie, we get to history, and then we get to what's going on. Where are the conventions? Where are the showings? What's going on? And we have several, I guess I've kind of coined the term subcasts.
Uh-huh.
We have Indie Spotlight, where we cover independent stuff.
Yep.
For maybe a music fan, you would think of the band that's playing Friday night at Wake and Bake.
Right.
That would be an indie thing for like a country. But we're talking about movies or bands or comics even or books. So,
all right.
We just cover a wide range of everything
horror,
going on.
you guys have got your finger on it.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. We're talking with Brian Godsill here. He is the co-host of the I Like It Spooky podcast, hosting the double feature that's going to be happening on April 12th, 7 o'clock down at the Capitol Theater. We'll get the details of this up, and you can get that through this interview once we're all said and done here. But, Brian, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we let you go here today?
I think I just want to thank the sponsors, Burlington Blackwater LLC, which is here in Burlington, Dame Fine Coffee, which is all over the Midwest as we speak.
Yeah.
But, they're paying the fees so the films can be shown for free.
Yeah, big shout out to those guys for doing that, and it's gonna be a fun day for the spooky movie fans out there. I know there's a lot of them there. It feels like, and you can maybe attest to this as a podcaster of this kind of category. It feels like more and more people are starting to get into the horror genre. Why do you think that is? Do you have a reasoning behind that, or do you just are you noticing that as well?
Well, we totally stay out of politics on the show because that's scary enough for everybody. But I think that's what it is. You turn on the TV now and it's all bad news.
Okay.
Even if it's not politic related.
Yeah.
It's, murder and death and all that stuff. So horror movies are kind of an escape for me and for most people, I feel like. You can just go unplug. Most of the time it's not very realistic. I don't know that most people are worried about somebody killing them at a camp.
Yeah.
So you can kind of unplug, and horror is keeping Hollywood alive right now, too. A lot of the stuff that's coming out is big budget, and it's not making a lot of money. Horror films tend to be lower budget and have been making a lot of money. So I think people are just kind of gravitating to get away from everyday life.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense there. He's the co-host of the I Like It Spooky podcast. Check out their podcast. By the way, where do they check out the podcast? Where you guys got it available at?
So you can check out the podcast on anywhere you listen to a podcast, Spotify and among the other 800 podcast apps. But we're also all over social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on X, we're on Threads. I'm sure there's been 2 or 3 new ones pop up since we started this interview.
Probably. He's Brian Godsill joining us here from the I Like It Spooky podcast. We appreciate him joining us. Check out that event happening at the Capitol Theater on April 12th. Brian, good to see you this morning. Best of luck at your event, and thanks for coming by here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Check out that podcast for you scary movie fans out there. Here's Thomas Rhett on The Bull.